Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the MTG Arena Run. Today it's FNM and we're going to be exploring Standard 2021. You might have seen a few of my videos before where I explored some of the pre-con decks and how to tweak them. One of them was the Demir deck, and I tweaked it more towards Flash with some Mutate, but I didn't really go all the way there. There's a whole nother team to explore on that, and we're gonna explore that right now. So we're going to give this one a shot. I'm calling this one Flash Mutate Rogues, basically because of the teams it has. It's basically Flash, Mutate, and Rogues. So 27 creatures. All of them have Flash of some sort, including the Brazen Borrowers. Notable notes: Fairy Vandal, very good as a rogue, and we have quite a few ways to draw a second card on our turn. So we got Omen of the Sea. Ghostly Pilfer works as an extra, but also, thankfully, it's not human, it's a spirit. So we want to have as many good targets to mutate on as possible. And it's kind of awkward because we have Cunning Nightbonder that's human, Thieves Guild Enforcer that's also human. But otherwise, everyone else is not human, so we have an advantage there. We have the usual blue-black package of Sea Dasher Octopus, Dirge Bat, and Pouncing Shore Shark. I added a single Tricks because sometimes I'm able to get there, and this will really break counter matchups. Slither Wisp, there to give us a little extra boost. Again, I haven't thought of making the extra copies with my wild cards yet. I actually haven't spent any additional ones. And let's see, we got 3 copies of Heartless Act as removal, 3 copies of Neutralize as emergency, also emergency card draw if we have to. Probably might want to rebalance this into like say 4 and 2, but we're gonna test this one out for now. As for our lands, 4 copies of Temple of the Sea, 3 copies of Dismal Backwater, a single Castle Vantress. Most of the time it's just to make our opponent guess, because on one hand we want our opponent, because if we're kind of pausing at the end of the turn, our opponent doesn't know if we're doing it because we're of the Castle Vantress or because we actually have something in hand, so that helps. Also, 4 Fabled Passage, pretty much a must-to-have right now. No sideboard quite yet because this event doesn't quite require sideboard. And we're gonna see how many games we can get through this. I've run into several different versions of this deck with different mixes of other cards and spells. I would suspect that we probably will have more in the way of the basic Slither Wisp package. That one's actually quite good. Draws quite a few cards and whatnot. Okay, definitely gonna keep this one first. At least we can run the Sea Dasher Octopus with Heartless Act backup. If our opponent has their own removal, that's another story. But I could have waited. Well, I'll be honest. I should have waited for our opponent to check top. And we're not mutating this turn too, but we do have the option to either Omen or Heartless Act, so we'll just swing. Nice thing now is whenever we see blue-black, we're not afraid of Thought Erasure. We're not going to see that in the future. So opponent probably might be incentivized to drop a creature, if not we just Omen. Then next turn we can hold up. We could just drop Sea Dasher Octopus and it's lonesome. It's not too bad. I'm concerned we might be land flooded here. Yeah, now that I think of it, I should really time. I should really time this so that let's say our opponent puts one down, then. Well, because if we see our opponent put one up, that's actually more to our advantage. Opponent might have removal. Probably has removal for this, but. Okay, we got a Cunning Nightbonder and another Sea Dasher Octopus. I'm gonna keep these 2 up top. So Cunning Nightbonder helps us in that it allows us to cast a Heartless Act for 1. No, it doesn't let us cast Heartless Act for 1. Sorry, this is just an instant. It doesn't actually have flash. It does give us the option though to at least leave things open. I could also Sea Dasher Octopus next turn into just a basic swing. Our opponent's definitely holding something up, or their connection's really bricked. Just have to remember, don't cast this one with the intent to cast this for 1. It's not gonna work. Blacklands Paragon. Nice try. I actually considered the Blacklands Paragon also. But it's just an extra aggro creature. The other thing is it's human, something I don't really want to add anymore. If I want to add flash creatures, they better not be human. So we're kind of mourning the loss of Spectral Sailor. That would have been the perfect 1-2 punch here. We will make do with Fairy Vandal. That I can say that at least. So opponent is now really incentivized to... Opponent has 3 cards. He will get another island. If our opponent has another Blacklands Paragon, I'm fine with this guy dying. It'd be a reasonable trade at that point. And more importantly, we'd have the Night Bonder. We can flash in the Octopus next turn. Opponent's really tanking hard. I'm also considering the possibility our opponent is holding up for, say, holding up an Eliminate. Now that said, I don't exactly want to dump these one after the other. There is still it's not Cry of the Carnarium anymore, but there's still a sweeper at 2. In fact, if you count Witch's Vengeance, there's also a sweep. That's also another sweeper at the cheap, so we have to be careful of those. Okay, we will... Now, I'm also concerned that by letting our opponent untap, that they will be able to... They're more likely to have a counter spell. But the way our opponent's holding up, it's definitely a combination of removal and counter. And if it's another Zaga Triumph, let's move straight to there. So we'll drop the Cunning Night Bonder. If our opponent has a counter for this, so be it. We are kind of flooding though, so that's a problem. Okay, get a trigger. Ooh, takes out 1 Heartless Act. So... Oh yeah, we mistapped our mana. Oops. Yeah, the double blue part. Yeah, we should be very careful with this. That said, we do have the option to actually scry 2, then drop the Sea Dasher Octopus. I'm concerned... Slitherwisp... To ambush the Thieves Guild Enforcer? Maybe. Okay, that's a plan, I suppose. Yeah, I couldn't get enough cards to mill up. Also, the hard part is that it's basically the first one who has to act is usually the one at the disadvantage. I'm definitely sacking Omen. Am I willing to mutate on an octopus on top of an octopus? Probably not. So opponent probably drops a remove. Probably gonna drop a removal spell here. That's kind of a given. Alternately, I could opt for Murderous Rider. Okay, we're definitely gonna sack. If our opponent has removal now, there we go. I think our opponent might be concerned we have Mystic Denial. Something Mystical Dispute. Something we probably should consider. Okay, we're definitely keeping this set combo. Probably could have... Though I probably could have flipped it around so that the Omen's on top. So I could use it to draw the Slitherwisp, then play the Slitherwisp. Alternately, We'll see if they will let us draw a card. There's a Blacklands Paragon. So we'll see which one he blocks. Probably might block. Okay, goes for the mana. And there's a Heartless Act. Yeah, I figured as much. So I'm actually incentivized to cast this Slither Wisp now. I can mutate on top of it just to draw a card, make our opponent lose a life. It's a bad use of resources. We'll see what our opponent does. We did make our opponent's discarded one Heartless Act, used up a Heartless Act. Brazen Borrower. Since I know it's Brazen Borrower, I'm willing to just mutate on top, draw the extra card, then have everything bounce back. If our opponent tries to kill this in response, he will lose the Brazen Rewind counter. Okay, that's fine too. Yeah, it looks like Rewind's gonna be one of those key spells. I probably should put that on the list. So currently a bit low on the life, at least for. So we can Slither Wisp into a Sea Dasher Octopus separately, or Omen the Sea. We have options. Probably want to get another Swamp, I guess. So, but the one thing we can do is drop Slither Wisp, drop Sea Dasher Octopus. Actually, now that our opponent's done that, we're going to do this now. Basically, the reasoning is our opponent's tapped out, so at least we can dodge a rewind. So we're still going to be taking quite a few hits from the Brazen Borrower up top, but we can start putting pressure on our opponent on the bottom. Temple of Despair, Deceit. Okay, we'll drop that one first. I will definitely swing with Sea Dasher, hope our opponent blocks. Yeah, we have to assume that our opponent definitely has responses. Zagatrion. Okay, keep that on top. See where our opponent has another Slither Wisp. Okay. Is he gonna block? Probably. There you go. Now, what I'm gonna do is actually cast a Ghostly Pilfer, so I have another blocker that's not Slither Wisp. See if our opponent has a counter for that. Rewind. So while our opponent's rewinding, let's go in with this now. So we got Cunning Nightbonder and Tricks. Then Nightbonder. So if our opponent wants to cast an instant, there they go. We will have the option for Tricks, although this does not dodge counter spells. So we probably should wait for our opponent to be shields down. Also will not dodge a Heartless Act, though I'm probably less concerned about that right now. So opponent definitely untaps. I think our opponent's having connection troubles. There you go. Okay. They're back. Omen of the Sea. Yeah, this is going to be a battle of attrition. We're down to 7 life. So the Brazen Borrower is going to be a problem unless we can drop Tricks. Even then, could still be a problem. Black Lance Paragon. Down to 5. We are forced to block everything. So, yeah, slight. Down to 2. If our opponent has 2 more spells, we are gone. Yeah, we actually need to draw into another creature with this Omen. I have to assume that Slitherwisp is gonna die, and I'm definitely not swinging with him right now. Might not even matter if our opponent has enough flash cards. So, we did not... Did we play a land yet? We did not play a land yet, so we could actually buy ourselves a little time with this. Oh no, we did play a land. Oops. Yeah, I should not have kept this one. I should have just been for another one. Might still be over anyway. If our opponent has the requisite Heartless Act, I might even just cut down some of the straggler cards in favor of just 4x Heartless Act. The neutralize it, probably just upgrade to Rewind. Yeah, that's down to 2. Oh, down to 2, right? Yeah, down to 2. Still not good. Yeah, just cast this. Good game. So our opponent actually had how many Slither? 3 Slitherwisp. Yeah, there's a reason to go all in with the Slitherwisp. So the mutate package probably can just go. We don't need. Probably a little bit overkill. So what are the? It's good in some matchups. I was able to, but not great in this one. If the Mirror Flash is gonna be the one we're gonna see all the time, that might be a problem. So I definitely want to replace the neutralizes. Mystical Dispute might actually not be so bad considering how many blue spells we ran into so far. So just gonna make that quick swap. Also less pressure on our mana base. Fairy Vandal, but I guess this is fine. Just want to card styles. That's not a fan of this one. I am a fan of this one though. Yeah. Oh, that costs money, and I'm not spending 400 gems on that. Oh, next, so much for that. So, yep, we're subbing the neutralizers with Mystical Disputes. We'll see if this turns out better. And actually, yeah, good thing I did not actually pop this up yet. Okay, definitely keeping that. We got to turn 2 Pilfer. So if our opponent doesn't... I'll be honest. Having to say if our opponent doesn't have removal, it does not sound like the best plan in the world. Opponent on green... Oh, we actually have the option to... Oh, we have multiple options. I am willing to start with Fairy Vandal first. There is... Actually, no. I'm going to start with the Ghostly Skull Prophet. Opponent's on the mill plan. I'm actually going to go Ghostly Pilfer. Having the option to be unblockable despite costing a card it's not so bad. And not if we can draw cards again with Sea Dasher Octopus. In fact, one option we have is Island, Night Bonder, Mutate. Not if our opponent deadweights it, but that's okay. So opponent probably swings with this. Yeah, we'll take 3. Then our Triton. Okay, opponent's gonna load the play art. We're definitely gonna want to keep the Fairy Vandal. And now we have 2. So next turn I'm just gonna go Cunning Nightbonder into Fairy Vandal. I'll block the Skull Prophet if he offers it as a combat, as an attack. Is our opponent planning to respond? In fact, next turn what we can do is we can mutate the Shore Shark onto this. But no, I'll take the 5 for now. Okay. Actually, that's fine. I could actually just drop the other Fairy Vandal now. Swing. Mutate. Draw our second card. Now we have a 2. Now we will have now these guys get a little bigger. Probably will still block my Triton given the choice. If our opponent has removal, they'll most likely remove this, which will open the way for this, for pouncing Shore Shark. Opponent also milling quite a bit helps us with Thieves Guild Enforcer. Opponent drags to the Underworld. Okay, that was expected. I will definitely bounce Skull Prophet, not my Triton. Order of Midnight to buy back. What did they buy back? Oh, they bought back the 1 Skull Prophet. Okay. In fact, you know what? You know what? You can have the other Skull Prophet. So we know our opponent's down to 2 cards next turn. Though it's not quite convincing that everything is kind of all in here. Okay, there's a Pulukranos, but... So this one will die unless we can destroy this. And Heartless Axe not quite gonna do it. Well, Heartless Axe is actually interesting. It could do it. It can actually still do it. Tricks the Summon Storm. Does this have reach? No, it does not have reach. Actually, another mutate creature here would counter this. So opponent plays Skull Prophet. He could actually swing with Polukranos first. If he actually... Oh, he plays another one. He's going for the aggro. He's not actually going to try to kill the Shore Shark. It costs mana to activate that, so that's a problem. Oh, and if I want to be mean. Oh, I could have mutated here to do more than one, but... Opponent's already dead at this point. Yeah, so the Pouncing Shore Shark's good as a tempo play, but we still have to be very careful with it. And it's usually not a good sign when we're winning by off the skin of our teeth. We kind of won already with tricks, but oh well. I guess Rewind is actually a good choice also, but I'm kind of playing this more as an anti-rewind. So that's more like if our opponent is expecting to rewind, we have something that can counter it. And also, try to put as little pressure on our mana base as possible. So, okay, got the Dirge Bat. I guess I'll lead Fabled Passage, grab a Edgewall Innkeeper. So this Adventures. We're gonna be on the lookout for that Lucky Clover. Rimrock Knight. Okay, that's one adventure. So this is an interesting version of this. And also an interesting lag as well. I'm wondering what's up. Anyway, let's get our black source. In fact, we kind of need 2 black sources for Dirgebat, but we're gonna also need two blue sources for. Oh, that solves that problem. So this is on cast, so I'm actually incentivized to just bounce this now. Buy ourselves a little time, play the swamp, hold up the mystical dispute. Because if our opponent doesn't have the lens, was actually going to cast that. Okay. We might be able to use that to our advantage. I should assume our opponent's going to cast one of these soon. We're taking a little bit of early damage. I will play the Ghostly Pilfer just to get an extra body on the ground. It will still leave us the option to bounce with Brazen Borrower. Opponent probably plays the Lovestruck Beast. If he plays the Beast, I'll just bounce the token. Taking the 4 point now. Down to 9. Down to 9, so I'm quite... Yeah, down to 9, so not a great position to be in. Oops, careful with that camera. Oh, opponent's not doing anything. I would suspect our opponent has access to a stomp. So I don't exactly have much of a choice. I have to just ram through. Okay. So we get rid of that. So next turn I probably just play a break. Ooh, I can't. I wanted to do multiple things, but I quite can't. Yikes. Mana was not so great. Going down to 6. Opponent's still not... Opponent's sitting 4 mana now. Still not playing the Love... Okay, plays the Lovestruck Beast. We'll play this now. If we hit 1 more mana, No, we hit the Slither Wisp, which is actually fine too. So next turn we can Slither Wisp, then bounce something. Okay, so stop before combat. I am incentivized to bounce the token. I won't get anything off that, but at least we get it out of the way. No blocks. Yeah, I really want that. Okay, we got our 1 more mana for Dirgebat. Let's get another island. I'm so concerned our opponent has a stomp. Over. We're gonna kill the Rimrock Knight because this one's... Well, let's wait until our opponent drops another... Oh yeah, we're actually... If our opponent has yet another Questing Beast... Okay, it's the game. Okay, well, kind of close, but yeah, too much delaying, and we've kept taking too much damage. But we'll keep trying again. Probably should go all... I guess we could go more all in. Yeah, definitely wanted that Heartless Act a while ago. So if our opponent actually drew that green mana earlier, we would have been dead a lot earlier. Took too much damage off the Rimrock Knight. I was probably better off blocking with this. Okay, we'll keep this one. Turn 1 Enforcer into turn 2 Vandal into Hateful Eidolon. Okay, let's play Enforcer. It's not actually good for us because Hateful Eidolon is a signal that our opponent has a lot of removal. But if our opponent aims removal here, there's a... we can slip the Fairy Vandal through at least. Maybe. It'll take 2 dead weights, which is very plausible and very annoying. I'm already starting to be down on the Dirge Bat package, so we might just go plus. We might just go +1 teeth. Yeah, just bump up everything else. I might actually still keep some of these, but maybe not in this big a volume. Only goes Timuret. Okay, take some more cards. Opponent's probably mono. Actually need land, so we're gonna bin both. So was Demonic Embrace. Mono black aggro. I would like to try it. I'm gonna try the Omen, because at least worst case scenario it leaves me something that can block the Hateful Eidolon. Yikes! Brazen Ball. Really need one more land. Okay, got it. Only goes duress, so we're going to respond by getting rid of the Hateful Eidolon. Probably lose one of our pouncing shore sharks. Opponent actually has the choice to recast Demonic Embrace onto Timuret, which... oh wait, no. Oh wait, the duress actually whiffs. I forgot, this is not Thoughtseize. I've been playing too much Historic. Hateful Eidolon again. Mars Grass takes it down to a 0-1. So... I'm actually gonna bounce the Hateful Eidolon because our opponent can catch up with lifelink on the Demonic Embrace, but not if we force our opponent to not have it. Opponent probably has yet more removal. Okay, that's fine. Draws 2 cards, but we now have a hex. We now have hexproof. Opponent casts Demonic Embrace on Timur. So bit of an ish. Yeah, we're in a bit of a pickle here. I need to cast this. In fact, our opponent just cast... yeah. Now we see the one well, we actually just have to... I guess we're just gonna have to cast this. So we're holding up the Brazen Borrower because we have to. We still have to deal with Timuret. Actually, yeah, Heartless Act would be great against this. Opponent's incentivized to actually just cast Hateful Demonic Embrace there. Might... No, even more cards. Yes, there's another Demonic Embrace. There's Hateful Eidolon. We are forced to block this one, because it doesn't matter if our opponent puts yet another Demonic Embrace there. We need to get rid of the creature. Can take our opponent down to 7. It's not like we're gonna block this anyway. Yikes. We get ourselves another swamp. We do have a flash. We have a flash blocker. When we face Blacklands Paragon. Oh yikes, we don't have enough. Probably should have, yeah, should have held one back. I keep forgetting Blacklands Paragon exists. It's probably gonna be something I'm gonna have to get used to from this point on. And I won't. Yeah. Ay. Not such a great day to mix everything together. Okay, suppose we were to cut some of the interaction. Like, say, we add more instants. That's not the bad plan. So, knowing from what we've seen, we definitely want 4 Heartless Axe. We can drop the Dirge back down to 1. We can cut Tricks. We can cut 1 Shore Shark. So we're limiting our liability that way. Ghostly Pilferer is okay, but not quite panning out. Unfortunately, we lost most of our good flash cards. Although, this is an additional counter. You could also just play. We could also just if we can't beat them, join them club. Let's just play Blacklands Paragon. It's also a good way to gain life. So we might actually just cut this package altogether. I will still keep. Okay, let's say I cut that too. What does that leave us with? Another Cunning Nightbonder. We definitely want to go all in Slither Wisp. Blitz Leech is expensive. Interesting, but expensive. Lutri the Spell Chaser is actually castable. We only have 1 free slot. So we'll see if this actually pans out. It's just kind of a throwaway here. Also, yeah, I think our land package should be fine. So we're gonna make that edit. And while we're making that edit, let's just go for another match. So having difficulty finding the place where we want to be. And yeah, 4 Blacklands Paragon. Okay, we're definitely keeping this. Okay, so we will lead on Fabled Passage. Oh, there's a Temple of the Sea. I should have led on that one. Okay, it's okay. Fabled Passage, get an island, get the swamp next turn. I definitely want to... If our opponent's on that plan, we're gonna try to disrupt it a bit. We'll save the next one for Lutri, so next turn it's probably Temple of Deceit, Blacklands Paragon, end of turn. Because we can't just keep bouncing this. We will keep the Fairy Vandal on top because that gives us a good turn 4 play. Beanstalk Giant, okay. Well, actually we'll let this resolve first. Our opponent could still have a Stomp. Not like we can do anything about it. Yeah, when we let this go, we were acknowledging that this was going to happen. Teamer Adventures. I haven't seen this one in quite a while, but the deck is relatively unharmed. Also, the way our opponent played lands, they're kind of signaled that they don't have a Stomp. So I'm actually tempted to... I'm actually just tempted to drop the Fairy Vandal now. I'm just concerned that our opponent might have running Stomps. Okay, opponent has Cycling. So I'm actually going to just leave this... Yeah, but we do need to hit the Heartless Act next turn. Opponent Fey of Wishes. Yeah, Escape to the Wilds is also unhit, so we're probably gonna see that as well. Where are Mystical Disputes? Okay, they're going for a Mystical Dispute. So, and a Storm's Wrath. So we're gonna incentivize our opponent to... So Lutri might have to wait. One, because we know our board's gonna get wiped anyway. Interesting, our opponent didn't just go for the escape, but... Probably because they're signaling they have something else. Also note that Fling is also untouched. That one was reprinted in Throne of Eldraine, so... A big Beanstalk Giant is still a problem. So... Yeah. I actually want our opponent to drop the Beanstalk Giant. They probably won't. They probably will just Storm's Wrath first. Yeah, that's fine. If they drop another permanent, I could Brazen Borrower into Lutri. Over. Let's see if they drop something else. There are two. Perfect. Poor man's... Poor... Target instant or sorcery control... yeah, submit. Resolve. Go to copy. Bounce the other one. I could have just waited for him to... So I do want to hit Omen of the Sea. Because I might need to miss... Opponents going to replay their Lucky Clovers now. Yeah, so that was one big delay. Still not enough. I really wish I had Blast Zone, but that's gone too. But then again, it's usually a war of attrition, and you kind of it's an uphill battle if your opponent already has a turn 2 clover. Okay, so this gives target knight. We don't have knights, we just have rogues. But opponent has 3, 4, 5, 6. Opponent probably... Oh, it doesn't counter it. Opponent probably has their own bounce. Or their own stomp. Well, they had neither. I'm gonna play this just to make this one live. And I'm incentivized to swing even if it just kills the Brazen Borrower. Has a Brazen Borrower of their own. You may choose to copy it. Unfortunately, the copy is not cast, so this will not trigger off those. Yeah, so... Oh well, that was worth a shot. Yeah, no real way to protect it. So... we need to force our opponent to try to cast a Mystical Dispute, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, just pass the turn. Yeah, this is an uphill battle where we could not get a fast enough response against... Yeah, we need even more disruption. So probably some of the cutesy stuff like the Ghostly Pilfer is gonna go... Actually, I think I've seen it. Yeah, I think I've seen enough. There's... Lucky Clover, if unanswered in turn 2, is a problem. Actually, an incentive to bring up our... Yeah, bring up even more counter spells, which... Not everyone's style, but it kind of is mine. We don't exactly have Censor here, but we do have Lofty. I'll run this one more time. We'll see. I'll run this one more time. We might get some advantage over this, but it's not. Well, for one, I can already drop. I can kind of drop the mutate off the name, though. We still have Sea Dasher Octopus. So, turn 1 Dismal Backwater. Turn 2 Thieves Guild Enforcer, unless we draw an island, in which case we get to hold up Heartless Act. That's actually a good one to copy with Lutri. In fact, why not? Oh, this one's from the Arena decks. So this is where our mana base kills us. Tin Street Cadet becomes block. Nest Robber. Ooh, Super Haste. Okay, we did draw the island. So we actually have the option for Fairy Vandal. So we actually have the option to cast Fairy Vandal. Opponent probably has a way to kill it, but we're gonna drop it anyway. That's a token. Oh no! Goblin Gathering, even more tokens. So we'll drop the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Okay, cut some land. And the Goblin Trash Master will drop Fairy Vandal. No, Omen of the Sea. Try to draw into... Okay, we definitely want that. That's a land for next turn, but... And the option to Slither Wisp next turn. Opponent probably has some burn. I'm also concerned our opponent has a go white plan here, so... block as needed. Opponent might actually still have it. Oh no, it's just a... Oh, someone is... Okay, our opponent is playing from the red color deck. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, that creature gains. Well, I'm not gonna wait for that to happen, so I'm gonna disappoint our opponent. Can keep holding this back. Molten Ravager. Opponent should stop swinging. Especially if they've seen the... If they've seen the deck from... What do you call it? No. If they've seen the tutorial, the opponent just kept swinging and just kept losing goblins one after the other. So this can pump up to a 4/4. Opponent has 5. Six, 7, 8, 9. And we have a safe way to block a Molten Ravager now. Opponent probably spends the mana there, but at least the threat is gone. And another Temple of Deceit. We will play Slither. Let's swing with this one. Basically, I want to just keep holding this back. We've taken just 5 damage, but still bad enough. Okay, Mortal Phoenix. Got Counter Spell. Probably not going to counter anything our opponent has. But I will play another Slither Wisp so that any future... And we do have Lutri, we can just drop if we need extra card draw. I don't think it's safe to take damage, so I'm gonna actually just block with this one. Siege Dragon, destroy all walls. Oh. To each creature without flying. Ah, yikes. I have no choice but to counter that. Okay, so I'm gonna... So unfortunately, the most we can bring this up to is a 4/5, but we might be able to bring it up to a 5/6 soon. So I'm going... So end of turn, I'm gonna... If our opponent doesn't drop anything to counter, we'll just take the damage for now. Let's see, doesn't drop anything, so we'll drop Lutri, draw 2 cards. There's a Ghostly Pilfer we can use to draw. And multiple Heartless Axe if we want to be mean. Let's see if our opponent trades. Probably not the best trade. Also, this costs 6, so unless our opponent's going to wait till 9 mana, they're going to miss out on that boat. And Yeah, that was bullying. That was really bad. Our opponent was literally playing from off the arena deck, so I really don't understand why this kind of matchup happens. Our opponent playing, they're just doing the color challenge. They really shouldn't be. But then again, it's kind of weird because this is standard 2021. I don't think our opponent was just playing the color challenge. I think our opponent intentionally played here, and it's still standard 20. It's still standard play. It's also possible that they're doing the same thing that we're doing. They're testing out strengths and weaknesses. I hope that's the case. That will make me feel a lot better. So definitely Dismal Backwater turn 1. Fairy Vandal into Omen turn 2 is my preferred play. And I'm not sure if our opponent has... Let's see what he has. Hushbringer. Unfortunately, this is not an ETB effect. And yeah. That was a bit presumptuous on our opponent, to be honest. We probably would not get the effects from Blacklands Paragon while Hushbringer's there, but we would have been able to stall it out with just the 2-3 Fairy Vandal. So, yeah. Well, at least for our opponent, they will definitely know the existence of Fairy Vandal. In fact, most people probably would have by now. I guess this should be one last game. So definitely Temple of the Sea turn 1. We will need to decide if we want to hold up. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay, definitely keeping the Fairy Vandal. Lutri is weird. Okay, so play this one first because we have multiple turn 2 plays. Opponents, cycling. Where are the counter spell? Plays Stranded Healer. Heartless Act is kinda okay, I guess. Wait, actually no. Play this first. Gives us a Mystical Dispute, which... Okay, so we need to save this for the inevitable Zenith Flare. So we have Thieves... So we have Thieves Guild Enforcer into Fairy Vandal as an option. We have Lutri the Spell Chaser as an option, though... That's an... Actually, it's a little less expensive because of the Cunning Knight Bonder. Opponent plays Valiant Rescuer. We'll probably cycle a card. Actually... something great to block. Don't worry, it's a one-off. You're not gonna get confused. So Zenith Flare is too early, so I'm probably just gonna Heartless Act the Valiant Rescuer, so I only have to deal with one token. And preferably I drop the Thieves Guild Enforcer. Opponent's now at Zenith Flare, but place the Dranid Stinger first. We do need to get rid of this eventually. Also, our opponent's gonna help us pump this one, so... We're also helping our opponent too, so that's not so great. Flourishing Fox is a problem. Opponent's at 5. Okay, we'll help you a little bit here. Land and... Okay, so we helped him half. So... Definitely Fairy Vandal. Okay, got it to 3-2 level. Omen. Another Fairy Vandal and a land. I I am gonna play. I'm gonna keep the land because I have no idea. But we're gonna start swinging with the Fairy Vandal. We need the Thief's Guild Enforcer to block this inevitably huge fox. We'll need to find ways to take out the Granite Slinger. If our opponent goes for Dolores, that's also something we can try to counter. So down to 19. Oh yeah, we gained 2 life. Okay, opponent's not going for that, so we're just gonna sack this. I'm actually not too sure about Fairy Vandal, but I'll keep it. So we're kind of racing. Also, I'm concerned that the Mystical Dispute might not quite do it. And it's still cycling. Down to 16. I could just cast this right now, but if our opponent swings with that, yeah, we're definitely gonna block. We're gonna drop one more Fairy Vandal. That's sniping lands, which kind of helps our opponent. So our opponent gonna go for the... Now the problem is if our opponent has a second one. Well, that might be a problem. So I'm actually gonna offer the Cunning Nightbonder as a trade. And it's not taking it, so they have it. Which can't be helped. Oh. Do they have it? I'm pretty sure they have it. In which case, they should just stop playing around and cast it. Yeah. So, if we're expecting cycling decks, sideboard should definitely have more counter spells. And you know what? We'll do one more. Because we're actually caught between having a lot of creature-based matchups and non-creature matchups. Another plausible thing we could do is take advantage of Witch's Vengeance, take advantage of the new -2/-2 spell. Just go blue-black straight control, so it's basically control and counters, then just drop the huge Lockmere Servant. That might be a better plan. So that's turn 1 Nightbonder, no, turn 1 Deceit, turn 2 Nightbonder, turn 3 Vandal into Omen. There's also a bit of awkwardness that you want to do this on, or you could just do this first and do this later. Okay. Also not quite fast enough, and the Blacklands Paragon does have a problem against some 1/1 soldier tokens. So one thing I could do though is just play the Nightbonder end of turn. Okay, there's the Phyrexian land. Llanowar Visionary. this is gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna probably drop Enforcer, Enforcer, Fairy, Vandal. Opponent also doing their graveyard strategy, so depending on what cards you're planning to dig up. Oh, this might be just a straight this might just be a straight precon. Tell you what, we're helping you. Let's see, I'm gonna resolve this one at a time. So we miss out on one trigger. Actually, not quite. No, we miss. Yeah, we do miss out on one trigger. Opponent uses. Oh, because we now have a set of 3/2s, but I wouldn't. It might be a bit premature, maybe. But there we go. We got the sequence. So all in all, if we're gonna go blue-black, definitely choose one strategy or another. Our mutate deck worked better because it was just all in on the mutate plan. We had the support in the Zagot Mamba and the Polywog Symbiote. If you're gonna go Flash, go all in on Flash. You'll have better support with the Slither Wisp, with the Cunning Night Ponders, the Thieves Guild Enforcers. Rogues can go split either way. But yeah, if I'm gonna do this deck for real, I'd probably take one element out. That's it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. Be sure to check in when I do a draft soon. I'm still trying to set up the voting poll, but Facebook is acting weird. Anyway, I'll try to get it set up soon. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Enjoy the rest of the week, guys.